this is a necessary assumption, right? And the conclusion is that using such genetically engineered crops more widely is likely to help wildlife populations recover. What is the problem with this conclusion? Why is this not necessarily true?
Because it's likely to help, but it doesn't say will help or,
Oh no, likely to help is good. It softens the conclusion. But why isn't this conclusion still supported by the evidence? What's the only thing we know?
Genetic, well,
Yeah?
excessive incentive or spraying is harming them, but we don't know anything.
Okay, so the stuff that they used before harmed the wildlife, right?
Right.
So if you take that away, will that
Make them
help them recover?
No, we don't know.
No, they could just stay down, right? They just don't get worse maybe, but it doesn't necessarily help them recover. So this is kind of like we're taking away a bad thing by having these genetically engineered crops, but that doesn't necessarily mean that now the absence of a bad thing is going to lead to recovery, right? So that's the flaw with this argument. Were you debating B?
A and C.
A and C. Okay.
A, B, C in fact, but I somehow.
Okay, so A is correct, which is basically what we were just saying, right? It will actually. This is not what we were saying. This is a necessary assumption. We have to assume that using the genetically engineered crops will cause less harm to the wildlife population. Because if it doesn't cause less harm, if it causes the same or more, then it's definitely not going to help them recover.
It's not useful.
But it's not a very helpful answer. It's not like, oh, great, it causes less harm. This is going to work now.
Like one more extra animal.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see that as an answer.
It doesn't do very much, but we still have to assume it, right? This is the difference between a necessary assumption and a sufficient assumption. A sufficient assumption is going to really help the conclusion. This is just something that needs to be true, even if it doesn't do much to help the conclusion, right? Okay, B. Was anyone tempted by B?
I was.
Yeah, so B is wrong for the very last part. It says wildlife populations that have been harmed are likely to recover. Ooh, sounds really good, right? If the amount of insecticide sprayed on those croplands is reduced even slightly. This is way too strong. If we drop it one drop, right? We were spraying 100 million gallons, now we're spraying 99 million gallons. They're going to start recovering. No, that's going too far. We don't have to assume that. We have to assume that if you eliminate the pesticides, then they will start to recover. Right? Because that's what they said they would do. Actually, it doesn't have to eliminate them. You just have to get rid of the excessive spraying.
I reject it because of that even slightly.
It's the even slightly. This is way too strong. It's basically saying if you just change it one little drop, all of a sudden it's going to recover. No, we have to get rid of the excessive spraying before it has to start recovering.
Would this be a sufficient assumption?
It would be a sufficient assumption. Because it would say, hey, if you drop it a little bit, boom, you're good.
You're set.
So that would totally strengthen the conclusion. But sufficient is not what we're looking for. C, crops that have been genetically engineered are never sprayed with insecticides that harm wildlife populations.
That's what I thought it was assuming.
This is too strong because of never. It's not that they are never sprayed, they just have to be sprayed less so to the point that they are no longer excessive. Right? Because they said it was the excessive spraying that harmed wildlife. So we just need to stop the excessive spraying, but that could still be more than zero.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
I negated that. Crops that have been genetically engineered to resist insect pests might be sprayed with insecticides that harm wildlife.
Yes, they might be sprayed with it, or they are sprayed sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, sprayed sometimes.
Sometimes, and never versus sometimes.
Or no, I said might be or sometimes.
Yeah, I would go further and just say sometimes. Because you say never, sometimes they are sprayed.
So I thought
that negates it.
When I negated it, I thought it destroys the conclusion.
Well, if they're sprayed sometimes, it doesn't destroy it, right? Because it could still be way less than excessive.
Not so convincing, but yes.
Well, it's just what has to be assumed. Does it have to be assumed that that they will not recover unless they are never sprayed, right? Or do we just have to assume that they'll...
Because the first premise says that enable them to resist and do not need to be sprayed with.
They don't need to be.
Yeah. So I thought like.
But does that mean that they will never be sprayed?
That's what I thought they were assuming.
Yeah, but it's a very strict question. Is this a necessary assumption? Does this have to be something that they're assuming? Not necessarily. So watch out for strong words.
Okay.